Hi, and welcome back to Joe's DIY. So thank you for joining us for part 4 of my 1,000 subscriber special. And today I'm going to go ahead and do my 70s album. And I believe this is from A to, just let me make sure that, A to D. So as you can see, I have quite a few 70s albums. Actually, the 70s basically counts for a good substantial part of my collection. I would say probably about a third of it. So yeah, most definitely have a lot of albums to go over. So without wasting any more time, let's go ahead and get to it. Okay, so starting us off with A's, it is Abba Arrival. Okay, not particularly an album that I listen to a lot. It's actually more my wife, because she loves Abba. So we found a couple of Abba albums, and I've decided to buy them for her, and she quite enjoys listening to them. So Abba Arrival. Next up is ABBA's Greatest Hits, another one of my wife's favorites. Can't really say much about the songs because I don't know much of them. I think I only know pretty much Fernando because I am a Dodgers fan, and if you recall, if you were around in the early 1980s, they used to always play that song when he would take the mound. So definitely a memorable song for me. Next up is another ABBA album. This is Super Trooper. It's probably one of their better known albums. I think it's probably one of the more popular ones. Not my favorite or cup of tea, but definitely my wife enjoys these. Next up is Aerosmith, Toys in the Attic. So now we're getting into the rock stuff. One of the best Aerosmith albums that I own from the 70s. I really do like the early 70s stuff. That's my preferable era of Aerosmith. So Toys in the Attic's a classic. I mean, you know, what do you got here? You got Sweet Emotion, one of my all-time favorite songs from Aerosmith. Toys in the Attic, and you got You See Me Crying, and of course Rock This Way is in this album. So well, Walk This Way, sorry, did I say Rock This Way? Walk This Way is in this album. So obviously one of the best Aerosmith albums. Aerosmith Rocks, so definitely a classic Aerosmith album. What do you got here? You got Back in the Saddle, of course, Nobody's Fault, Home Tonight, Rats in the Cellar. So great stuff here. And then I got Aerosmith Get Your Wings. This is their 1977 album, and definitely some favorites here. So you got Same Old Song and Dance, Train Kept Rolling, Pandora's Box. So great stuff here. Aerosmith, Get Your Wings. Next up is Aerosmith Live, Bootleg. So this is one of their live albums. I'm not sure if this is really a bootleg or not, but definitely has some of the best songs here. Back in the Saddle, Sweet Emotion, Toys in the Attic, Come Together, Walk This Way. So some all-time greats here. Next up is Alice Cooper, Killer. I actually just recently got this album, so I haven't had a chance to listen to it yet. But I do know that this is one of the better known, liked Alice Cooper albums. I might be wrong, I'm not sure. And then I got Alice Cooper Greatest Hits. So definitely some of the favorite ones. I'm 18. Under My Wheels, Be My Lover, School's Out, No More Mr. Nice Guy, $1 Billion Babies. So all the greatest hits here. Next up is one of my all-time favorite live albums, and that's the Allman Brothers Band at the Fillmore. Classic album. I think this is one of the first ones that I bought, that I got a chance to buy on vinyl, so very happy about that when I got it. Statesboro Blues, Hotlanta in memory of Elizabeth Reed, and of course Whipping Post, one of the best songs here on this album. So great Allman Brothers Band album. Next up is Brothers and Sisters, another great album here. You got Rambling Man, Southbound, Jessica, Come and Go Blues, Allman Brothers, Eat a Peach. I think that's what the album's called. Yeah, Eat a Peach. So this is an album. I think this is probably one of the last albums they released during that Duane Allman era. So it's got kind of a mix of live and studio takes. It's got the Mountain Jam, Little Martha, One Way Out. So good stuff here, Allman Brothers. Allman Brothers, The Best Of. One of the first albums that I picked up when I was Goodwill shopping. Got all the classics here: Ramblin' Man, Midnight Rider, Southbound, Melissa, Jessica, Win, Lose or Draw, Blue Sky, Statesboro Blues. So all the classics here. I always like this album cover because it's got the guitar packaged up, but I'm pretty sure you only have to watch Trogley's guitar show to kind of see that this packing wouldn't work if you wanted to ship a Les Paul. I think that's what this is. I'm not sure. Anyways, best of the Allman Brothers. Next up is I'm Still in Love with You, Al Green. Didn't get a chance to listen to this from beginning to end, but I like side one. Side one is pretty good. Still in Love with You is a classic. Love and Happiness, another classic. What a Wonderful Thing Love Is. So great stuff by Al Green, or the Reverend Al Green. Another album by Al Green, Explores Your Mind. Found this one and didn't really like it too much. I mean, it was okay, but I didn't find too many songs I could connect with. But it's still an Al Green album. I probably should give it another listen, give it another chance to see if I'd enjoy it. But yeah, it wasn't all that great. Next up is America. I think this is their debut album. Great band from the 70s, kind of folksy, but I really enjoy their music. You got A Horse with No Name. It's probably one of their most listened to. Rainy Day, Pigeon Song, Riverside. So good stuff here. Good album. Next up, America Homecoming. So another, I think this is their second album. I'm not sure. But good stuff here. Is a good picture of the band there. It's one of those long centerfold kind of albums, I guess. And so Ventura Highway, great classic album, classic song here. Only in Your Heart, Till the Sun Comes Up Again. California Revisited. Okay, so good, decent album. America History, so America's Greatest Hits. So that's the front of the cover. This is the back side with all the songs listed. I like that art. I mean, it's kind of like, looks like a sketch, you know. And it's got all the classics: A Horse with No Name, Ventura Highway, Only in Your Heart, Tin Man, Lonely People. So not bad. Not a bad album. Next up is Andy Gibb, Flowing Rivers. So I think this is his debut album. I do love the Bee Gees, and you'll see more Bee Gees albums that I've accumulated. But I also like Andy Gibb's music. You know, some of it I can't say that I'm a huge fan and I like every single song, but you know, obviously the FM hits, you know, Thicker Than Water, I Just Want to Be Your Everything. And here's the other one, Shadow Dancing, another big hit for him during this time. So I haven't listened to the whole album, but definitely remember Shadow Dancing because it played quite a bit. Next up is The Association, Stop Your Motor. As you know, I watch Pop Goes the 60s. Matt Williamson, definitely saw his documentary on The Association. So when I saw this album at the Goodwill, I decided to give it a chance. I mean, I would say that I would have probably agree with some of the songs that he said were the most memorable. P.F. Sloan was okay. Along the Way was really a nice song. But not a bad album at all. I mean, it's kind of like contemporary 70s. That's what it sounds like. B.B. King, There Must Be a Better World Somewhere. Haven't listened to this a lot. I probably should. Just haven't had a chance to, but can't really say much about it because I haven't really heard the album, but can't wait to give it a chance. Bachmann Turner Overdrive. I think this is probably one of their most famous albums. You got of course, you know, You Ain't Seen Nothing Yet, Roll Down the Highway, Give It All Away. And here I got Bachmann Turner Overdrive Part 2. Haven't really listened to this yet, but I did get it because it was in pretty good condition, so Can't wait to listen to this band. And then I got, yeah, I think this is another album of theirs. I haven't really had a chance to listen to this either. I don't know what number chronologically this album came out in, but Bachmann Turner Overdrive. Bad Company, another great 70s band, well, at least started in the 70s. Paul Rodgers is the lead singer. I don't know if you know who he is, but lately he's been playing with Queen, or he was playing with Queen. So that's kind of Freddie Mercury's replacement. So can't get enough. Bad Company. Badfinger. Haven't listened to this yet. I just got this maybe about a week ago. Haven't had a chance to listen to it, but the album's called Ass, and you know, it's just, there you go, Ass. So I think it's a reference to the donkey, I'm pretty sure. The band Cahoots, another album I just recently got and haven't had a chance to listen to. I know that their better, most well-known album is songs from Big Pink or whatever, something like that. I haven't had a chance to know a lot about this band, but can't wait to really give them a try, because I do like that time period in history when you had music from the 70s. Next up is the band The Last Waltz. I did get a chance to see the movie, so I know a little bit about the music that's on there, but I just haven't had a chance to listen to this yet, so I probably should. Next up is Black Sabbath, We Sold Our Souls for Rock and Roll. This is kind of like their greatest hit compilation, and it's got all the best songs that are probably pretty familiar to everyone. You got Black Sabbath, The Wizard, Paranoid, War Pigs, Iron Man, Changes, Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath. My only Black Sabbath album so far. I probably should get the other ones, but you know how it is. Sometimes you don't remember when you're browsing through eBay. The Beach Boys' Sunflower. I've only listened to part of this album, and I have to say that I really liked it. It's definitely surprising, and they definitely have a different sound. Doesn't sound, all the songs don't really sound too much like the Beach Boys, which is kind of different. I think Brian Wilson wasn't really involved too much with this album, but side one is okay. I listened to that and I kind of enjoyed it, and probably should listen to the whole album. The Beach Boys' Love You. I've heard different things about this album, and I honestly haven't listened to the whole thing. I know that this is some type of comeback album done by the Beach Boys in the 70s. But I'm not really familiar with any of the songs. I know that some people either love it or hate it, and I haven't had a chance to listen to it, so I probably should. The Bee Gees' Massachusetts. So picked this up. One of the first albums I ever picked up. I haven't listened to it in a long time, but it's definitely got a lot of the early Bee Gees music. If you're not too familiar with it, you know, one of their better songs before, you know, they had that whole disco thing going on for them was Massachusetts. I like this album. I mean, it's okay. I think I liked side one better than I liked side two. So, and then Best of the Bee Gees. So again, a lot of their earlier music. You could even see like a picture of the Bee Gees looking really young there. So Massachusetts, obviously. To Love Somebody, I Started a Joke, New York Mining Disaster. Good music here. And this is volume 2 of their greatest hits. I think this is when they were a little older, doing more of the 70s stuff. The Lonely Days, How Can You Mend a Broken Heart, Run to Me. I think I listened to Run to Me on YouTube when they were doing that live show back in the 90s. One of the last shows that the Bee Gees did together. And it's just an emotional song. Really like Run to Me. All right, moving on. So, of course, Saturday Night Fever, the soundtrack. This is one of the first CDs that I ever got, and you know, I'm happy that I got the album. Definitely some classics here. I don't really need to say much about it. The movie's great too. I really like the movie a lot. Saturday Night Fever. Okay, Blood, Sweat, and Tears, Greatest Hits. I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not too much into this band. I heard a lot about them. But I mean, there's a few songs that I really know from this band. So yeah, You've Made Me So Very Happy is probably one of the only songs that I really know. But probably should listen to them more often. Parallel Lines, Blondie. So yeah, I think this is one of their first albums. I think Heart of Glass. I'm gonna pretend that I know much about some of the songs here because I remember listening to this album. I've actually listened more to the best of. So yeah, you got all the typical Blondie songs: Heart of Glass, Dreaming, The Tide is High, Rapture, One Way or Another. So yeah, classic Blondie stuff. Billy Thorpe. I have to be honest that I only got this album because I really love the song that came out in I think that show Fargo. I think it was in the second season, and the second season is set in the late 1970s. Actually, it's the year I was born, 1979, and yeah, you got Children of the Sun. So this is the song that I listened to that I really liked from him. So I haven't had a chance to listen to the whole album, but it's kind of like a prog rock sound kind of thing. So I really like this. So I'm gonna give this album a shot. And there's I guess Billy Thorpe there. So, and of course, a record collection couldn't be quite complete without Boston, their first debut album. And I really don't need to say much about this album because I think everyone knows some of the best songs here: More Than the Feeling, Peace of Mind. I think the entire album is a great listen and probably a multiple listen. So really enjoyed this. Boston, I think this is the second album. So yeah, it's okay. You know, I don't think it's as good as the first one. Don't Look Back, Don't Be Afraid, Feeling Satisfied. Bill Withers, Still Bill. So this is album I really do need to get another copy because I think this one's a little bit beat up. But I really enjoyed this album. I don't have the greatest hits collection for Bill Withers. I think I have it on CD, but I don't have it on vinyl. But some great songs here. Lean on Me, Use Me, Another Day to Run, I Don't Want You on My Mind. So yeah, good stuff here. And then this is Bill Withers, Menagerie. So this is not one of his better albums, but it's okay. I mean, it's a fun listen. Lovely Day. It's a song that used to play a lot on the radio. So not a bad album. The On the Waters, Bread. So I think this is probably one of their first albums. I'm not sure, but it's got the classic I Want to Make It With You. Yeah, Make It With You. It's not I Don't Want to. It's Make It With You. So yeah, so I think this is probably a big album for them, and I picked it up because it was in really good condition. I haven't had a chance to listen to the whole thing, but I have had a chance to listen to the best of. This is one of the first albums that I found at Goodwill in decent shape. I actually, I didn't find it in decent shape the first time. The first time it was actually warped. And that's the first time I discovered about warped records, that it's not the same thing as CDs. You can't fix them really. So yeah. But I did find another copy that was in better shape. And so this is the copy that I have now. That's my main copy. So it's got all the hits here. Make It With You, Everything I Own, Baby I'ma Want You. Pretty good stuff here. I would probably recommend getting this album. So I'm not sure if everyone else would like the other Brett stuff, but a good introduction to the band would probably be through this album. Next up is Blue Oyster Cult, and I heard great things about this band. I know a lot of people are huge fans of this band, but this is the only album that I have, and I did like it. I mean, it's obviously it's got Don't Fear the Reaper, but I haven't had a chance to listen to the whole thing, so definitely need to give it a chance so I can see what the whole hype is about. I'm sure, there's people here that are going to be mad at me in the comments, but, I don't know all the 70s bands, to tell you the truth. So I know a lot about the 60s because that was when my dad was young, and that was, the good music that he enjoyed from that time he shared with me, but I don't know it all. Bruce Springsteen, Born to Run. Just got this. Haven't had a chance to listen to this, but I know this is supposed to be one of his best albums, so probably should give it a listen to. I did listen to this one, Darkness on the Edge of Town. I really like this song, this album. So Prove It All Night, obviously, is the big hit from here. Streets on Fire, Badlands, so Something in the Night. So yeah, I really like this album. Carole King Tapestry. This is kind of like, it's going to be on any top 200 or 100 list of greatest albums ever made. It was a very popular album in the 70s. I think it was Carole King's first solo album. She was a songwriter that wrote a lot of hits for other people, and this is the album where she wrote and performed all the songs herself. So yeah, You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Woman. So yeah, I Feel the Earth Move. So a lot of FM hits here. And then the singles, Carpenters. So I do really love Karen Carpenter's voice. So, it's definitely makes you think of the 70s every time I listen to it. So I had to get this. We've Only Just Begun. And We've Only Just Begun was actually, I think, one of my 5th grade graduation songs. Yeah, I'm already dating myself. Yeah. Some girl in my classroom sang it for us. So yeah, that was kind of like, that's why I remember the song. And yeah, Top of the World, Rainy Days and Mondays, Sing. So yeah, a lot of the singles here. And then I got The Cars. I don't know if this is the first album or not. I should probably put this together with my 80s albums, but this was released in the 70s, but I like to keep all of the bands together. And I know they were more prevalent in the 80s, but yeah, this is a good album. My best friend's girl, Just What I Needed, Moving in Stereo, You're All I've Got Tonight. So yeah, good album. Tears, T for Tillerman, Cat Stevens. I'm not a huge Cat Stevens fan, but I do love Wild World. Really like that song, so I bought the album. But I heard that this is one of his better albums. I just haven't had a chance to listen to the whole thing, so probably should give it a try. Next up is Cheap Trick, Dream Police. A band that I've had their albums for a while already and haven't had a chance to listen to them. I know that a lot of people love the Cheap Trick. It's one of their favorite bands, but I haven't had a chance to listen to a lot of their songs. I know Dream Police. I know that's an album, a song that was being played a lot on the radio back in the day. So, but I got this one. I also got In Color, and the reason I'm holding the album upside down is because the back has the other guys in the band on the other side. So yeah, I have the albums. I just haven't had a chance to listen to them, but I need to. Okay, and then I got Chipito Aries. So he was the drummer for the Santana band in the 70s, and pretty much when they started too, I believe. This is a solo album that he released. I haven't had a chance to listen to it. I should, but it's probably more. I think a lot of the songs here, I think, are. Oh no, he's got some English songs. So I haven't had a chance to listen to this. I saw it at the good one. I didn't get it. I was kind of curious, so I picked it up. I haven't listened to it yet, but can't really say much about it because I haven't had a chance to listen to it yet. Okay, and then we have Chic, Greatest Hits. So yeah, the popular band from the late 70s, early 80s. Le Freak, Everybody Dance, Good Times. And then I got my first Chicago album, Chicago Transit Authority. So I think this is the debut album of that band. And heard a lot of things about Chicago, and I only know a few of their songs. So does anybody really know what time it is? Is probably one of the better known songs that I have. That I like from this band. I have to tell you that this is the downside of hunting albums all the time, is that when you start off your collection, you have a whole bunch of them, and sometimes you just don't get to them. And I'm sure this is a great album. I just haven't had a chance to listen to it. This is Chicago. I don't know which Chicago. The Chicago 5. So Now That You're Gone. Yeah, I don't know too much of the songs from this album. I haven't listened to Chicago in a long time, so I'll just put it back. I probably need to give it another listen. I enjoy all of Chicago's music. I just mostly listen to the greatest hits, and when you get the albums, you just don't get a chance to listen to them. If You Leave Me Now. So another kind of a classic album here. I think this is the greatest. Yeah, this is the greatest hits because it's got Saturday in the Park. I know that song. 25 or 624. Another rainy day in New York City. Does anybody really know what time it is? So yeah, all the classic Chicago songs are in here. Next up, I got the Commodore's greatest hits. So this is kind of like, music that you're always listening to at weddings and stuff like that. Brick House, Too Hot to Trot, Easy, Three Times a Lady. Next up is Crosby, Stills, and Nash and Young. Deja Vu is supposed to be kind of like their best album. And I listened to this from beginning to end, and I really enjoyed it. I mean, some of the songs here, let me see if I don't know the names, so I have to kind of. So, Our House, first track, Carry On, and then Woodstock, Teach Your Children. Yeah, a lot of good songs here. Definitely from the Woodstock era. This album actually was released in the 70s. So, all right. Next up is Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, So Far. So, that's the album cover there. And I think it's got a lot of their. Okay, I'm not sure if this is the greatest hits or not because it does have Deja Vu in here. So, oh yeah, it is a greatest hits album. I think this is the album where they released Ohio in Woodstock. Yeah, so it is kind of like a greatest hits album. And then this is their live album, A Four-Way Street. So this is where they perform a lot of their classic songs. Teach Your Children, Ohio, Southern Man, Carry On. Next up is Curtis Mayfield's Superfly. So always enjoyed the music from this album. Very funky. Little Child Running Wild, Pusher Man, Junkie Chase, Superfly. So great album. Curtis, I think this is his first solo album. Only listened to one side, but I really liked what I was listening to, so I need to listen to the other side. Haven't had a chance to. But Curtis Mayfield. Station to Station by David Bowie. So I don't have a lot of Bowie albums from the 70s. I wish I did because I know that's his peak era. But this is one of my favorite albums from that era. I think I would say if I had to rank them, Hunky Dory would be number one. Number two would be Ziggy Stardust, and then this one would be the third one because I just love the guitar in this album. It's funky, but it's just dark too. I mean, it's just cool. It's just really a cool album. Golden Years. Let me see. So you got Station to Station. I love the first track. It's really kind of dark and tense. Golden Years, Stay. I love the guitar on Stay. It's kind of iconic. So yeah, great album. Okay, and then I got Deep Purple, Machine Head. So I got several Deep Purple albums I've been fortunate enough to find. But definitely kind of like a quintessential album. You got Highway Star, Smoke on the Water, Space Truckin'. So, okay, next album is Fireball, Deep Purple. So, obviously love several of the songs here. You got Fireball, Strange Kind of Woman, Fools. So, great album. Next up is Burn. Great album. I probably listened to this one the most of all the Deep Purple albums. Love the title track, Burn. You Fool No One. Lay Down, Stay Down. So, great album. Derek and the Dominoes. So Eric Clapton playing probably his most iconic song, Layla. So that's the front of the album. Pull the albums out so you can see the back with his strap. So Bell Bottom Blues, title track, Layla, Little Wing, Tell the Truth. Have You Ever Loved a Woman? It's Too Late, obviously. Another great album, great song. So yeah, classic album by Eric Clapton in the 70s. Next up is Best of the Doobie Brothers. So I think I have other Doobie Brothers albums that I might have heard. Some I might, some I have not. But I have obviously listened to the greatest hits. So you got China Grove, Long Train Running, Taking You to the Streets, Blackwater, Jesus Is Just Alright, Take Me in Your Arms Without You. So Doobie Brothers. And then you got, I think this is the debut. What were once my vices are now habits. You got Black Water. And I think this is probably one of the only songs that I know from this era. I know this is before they got a lot of the members that would later join the band. So Toulouse Street. So I haven't really listened to this album too much. Listen to the music. It's probably one of the songs that I know the most from this album. Jesus Just Alright. And then the Doobie Brothers, Taking It to the Streets. So Taking It to the Streets, For Someone Special, Carry Me Away. Not a bad album. And I think probably this is one of their best albums. The Doobie Brothers, The Captain and Me. So you got Natural Thing, Trying to Groove, Without You, Evil Woman. So yeah. And that's going to do it for all my albums that I have. I might have a few more albums that are in D. I'm not exactly sure. But thank you for joining me again. I know this was a long video. But this is a treat for everyone, I think, because I'm sure some people might be curious about the albums that I have. And definitely happy that we've reached 1,000 subscribers. So thank you for all your support. And I will see you in part 5 of the 70s albums that I own. Thank you very much and have a wonderful night.